keep kind of circling on this being on a good team thing. So even sticking on you being at the camp, trying to think of how to frame my question. So let's say, the guys are coming from all different teams. So they've all played different places, whatever. How how much of a factor is that in going into how the coaching staff or the scouting staff, whoever is evaluating for the team, is looking at the player that is at the camp now? So is it, for example, take the highlight AAA team with the Marlies or something. Let's say there's a kid from the Marlies there or something equivalent. The fact that that kid played on the Marlies, is that garnering that kid more attention in the eyes of the guys that are evaluating? Are they giving them, are they more of a shiny toy because they're coming from that team or coming from that area or whatever? Or does it, once camp starts, is it kind of a wash now? Now
Yeah,
it's just
you just want people to argue with us.
Yeah, I know.
No. Here's the thing. Like, to answer the
Because
question
people think
first,
this, right?
yeah. To answer the question first, okay. If you play for the Marlies, Honey Baked, Chicago Mission, JRC, whatever in Canada, the equivalents of those big teams, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not good for you, because you're going to be playing with good hockey players, right? Like, I'm not saying you can't be a good hockey player somewhere else. What I'm saying is, in those centers, you're able to recruit very, very good hockey players, the top hockey players, sort of, kind of, okay, that fit into that level. So you'll look at the Toronto Marlies or the JRC or whatever, Mississauga Rebels or whatever they are, and you will see in the first 3 rounds, you might see, 20 guys go in the top 60 picks. That's really good. That's really good hockey, right? And so for the purposes of getting drafted and or getting recruited maybe to college or junior or whatever, that is a very attractive thing. It is. You play for the Marlies, and if you're on the second line, first line, or whatever, you're playing with good players. So, even if I could hide some of my deficiencies, even sometimes, like if I'm playing with you and you're willing to get the corner and go hunt pucks and make a play, and I got a good shot and I'm in the slot or in the areas where I can shoot and they go in, I look good, you look good, whatever. So now it's recognizing what actually equates to being a junior hockey player. So there's value in playing on a good team. There definitely is. You will get, and there's the negative, because if you don't stand out, then
yeah. Oh, I'm going to do that contrast.
But there is definitely good qualities for playing on an excellent team. And the other qualities are you get to play and move pucks and see how good players think, maybe, or and you get to feel what it's like to execute some pretty sick stuff and win. Like, all that kind of stuff it's a good thing. But once you get to that junior camp, I won't lie. Not that I would lie about it, but I want to be. How do I say this? Being totally transparent, there's probably your hype train coming into, let's say you got drafted to the OHL or a junior team, you were a first round pick, second round pick, right? The little bit of hype is going to give you a little bit of room. Okay, so that's true. So if you are on a good team and you get drafted at a high what? If you get drafted as a high prospect, like a first, second rounder, then there is leash. But that leash only lasts for so long, because what you're looking for is the best hockey player. So yes, does the guy from Sarnia have to maybe do a little bit more for a little longer to take that spot? Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. But at the end of the day, the round you were drafted doesn't mean a thing. It does and it doesn't. You get the leash, but then you keep that spot, right?
So it would be fair to kind of say it this way. So even to take out the top picks, like take them out of it. So let's say we have a 4th round pick from the Mississauga Rebels or whatever. Are they still the Rebels? Senators?
There's Senators, Rebels, something else.
The Rebels were the top dogs when I played. That's why I said that. Sean Monahan, so good. So let's say someone from that team, 4th round pick. Then you got a 7th round pick from the Sun County Panthers. And like 4th to 7th round, like, let's just say, for argument's sake, they're pretty close, right? Let's say they're pretty, just for my example, let's say they're pretty close. So do you get a little bit, are you starting off on a little bit better footing coming to, let's say, the whatever, Wellington Dukes, just random team, if you're at that camp, do you come in on a little bit better footing being from the Mississauga Rebels as opposed to being from the Sun County Panthers? Meaning there's a little bit more you have to do as the Sun County kid to get on the equal playing field. Like, is it that you're not starting on the same playing field to a degree?
I can't speak for everybody, but for me, no.
Yeah,
But for me,
for
no.
me, no. But
Yeah.
I feel like there is some.
Listen, people. It's so funny, man. People get fooled by that shit.
Right.
People get fooled by that shit, and there are times, many times, where you do get the benefit of the doubt because of the hype train from previous. That's just the bottom line. These guys, I mean, we were just talking about it the other day. There's a kid that's supposed to be wow, and I was like, after 2 days, I go, "What's wow about this? I don't understand." And then we had one person sticking up, no, but. I go, no, there's no but. There's no but. That kid's outplaying him. That kid's outplaying him. That kid's outplaying him, and that's not hard to do right now. He's shown nothing, but you get that person that will stick up for him for long enough to maybe he gets that early draft pick. Maybe he gets to stick around for a while. Maybe he gets even a year or two to because they think that it's going to happen eventually, and it never does until that seventh round guy beats him out just because he's just better, man. He's just better, right? So
Yeah. So if, let's say, just because there's both sides of the thing. So let's say for someone like you and I, because I wouldn't care. Like if I looked at my roster, like for any junior camp, they have the kid's name, the position, height, weight, team they played for last year. The team they played for last year for me, like I don't care. Doesn't matter. Once the puck drops at camp, I don't care. So that would be you and I. Let's say for somebody else, it does matter. Let's say they favor, well, this kid came from a better league, whatever reason they want to cite that this matters. I think it's probably fair to say in most cases across the board that leash runs out pretty quick, even just in the time that you're at camp. So let's say day 1, that matters. Day 2, it matters less. Day 3, it matters less. If someone's training camp, let's say most of them are maybe a week long before they start making most of their cuts. Within the week, I would say for me, pretty fair to say across the board, it'll run out, even if you're a person that would value that more over someone like you and I. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, and it's fair, but like all I would say is the argument would be, okay, so if you're, but this is the way I really would say it. There's certain teams, I'm not going to say in the OHL, but you could tell if you go look through the rosters and you see first round picks and second round picks that were drafted. So you're talking kids that were taken in the top 40. Okay. So these kids were typically from those teams, right? From the higher end teams, typically, but usually on a better teams, or they were really outstanding on a shitty team. But anyways, you take the first 2 rounds, so 40 kids. And if you look at the team's rosters and you look at the first 2 rounds and see how many kids have stayed on that team that they were drafted for more than a year or two, it's surprisingly small. And why is that? Because the hype train runs out, or they were really good and they were able to trade this guy for 4 or 5 guys. But if you look, and I'm not going to go through this because I would never embarrass kids or organizations, but you would look and you go, that was a first round pick? Really?
Oh yeah.
That was a second round pick?
Yeah.
And they get traded and someone else could be, well, there's potential there because he was a first round pick. He's like, the leash is long, but then eventually it's like, well, you're just this player, man, and it is what you are. This guy that was taken in the 4th round, 7th round, whatever round, free agent is just a better hockey player. And you're more value to my team.
Yeah.
So sure. it has to run out at some point. Yeah. Like you can't fool people forever.
And I think I want people like to hammer the point, just like so people know. I think it's a shorter leash than you think. Like it starts to come out in the wash pretty quick. So if you're the most extreme example would be the first, second round picks, like in Ontario for the OHL. Like they probably get the longest. For everyone else, it's like pretty quick to run out. You got guys like I remember even with Charlie's age group, like you got guys that were drafted pretty high, not outside the first 2 rounds, but pretty high. It's like they you don't even see them. I don't know where they are. Right? Or they've been traded 3 times, or they don't play in the OHL anymore, or they don't, right? So as soon as you get outside that first 2, let's say, where they have a little bit longer, I think everyone else, like for the rest of the draft, like it's pretty interchangeable. after that initial phase of that hype of they were drafted higher, they're a
Yeah.
higher prospect or
Well,
whatever,
like, just say Charlie. If we were